Overwatch 2 mid-season update for Season 18 is here. We got the patch notes that dropped today, and the mid-season update is live in-game right now. So, gonna kind of be talking about the patch notes in this video. These are mainly balance changes. There really is not much for this mid-season update, if I'm being real with you guys. We got some more overpriced skins, Tracer added to Stadium, and then we got a little bit of balance changes, a lot of which, just skimming over them, are probably some of the most clueless balance changes ever, which we'll get into. There's a lot to talk about with those. You guys love when I rant on balance changes every time they have a new patch for about an hour, so without further ado, let's get right into this. If you guys want to see these patch notes, they are live on the Blizzard website. If you guys want to check them out for yourselves. If you guys just want to tab out, listen to me talk in the background, that's fine. Not going to be too much on screen. Just going to be kind of going through the notes. I'll probably throw some gameplay in the background for you guys. Leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Let's get right into this. Got the patch notes, mid-season 18 patch notes. Got a Overwatch 2X Phantom, I guess Persona. It's Persona. It's the Persona. I don't know why they call it Phantom Thieves. It's Persona. It's the Persona stuff. So yeah, it slipped in Overwatch the art with the. I'm pretty sure that's. I don't know why they don't call it Persona. Why is it called Phantom Thieves? It's Persona. It's a Persona collab. I don't know why it's called Phantom Thieves. So whatever. Got the Overwatch 2 anniversary stuff, y'all. We actually got some anniversary stuff for the next 4 weeks, which I think is pretty much the rest of the season. This current season we're on, Season 18, ends, I think, October 14th. So, it's actually, I think, like 2 or 3 days before Pokemon Legends ZA actually releases, which is kind of ironic as well. And then also on the same week, I think we got a brand new Legends, or Apex Legends season as well. So, not only do we have a new Pokemon game release, and we have an Overwatch season, and then Apex Legends new season on the same week. Literally within 3 days of each other, so that's always fun, having 3 games drop everything in the same week. I hate when they do that. I hate how that always happens. I wish it would be spread out a lot different, so we can have like one thing on one week and like other stuff dropping on like different weeks, so we have to just sit and have like 4 things to play and everything at once. But starting this week, at least for when the patch goes live, there's actually a chance to get a bunch of free stuff. I'm all fine with this stuff. Like, I don't really give a shit about a lot of these older game modes and shit they're bringing back. This first week they're bringing back Mischief and Magic. Week 2 is Mirror Watch, and then Classic Moth meta for that type of stuff. Week 3 is totally normal Watch and Classic Golds, Junkenstein's Laboratory, and then Classic Gold meta. But all this stuff, it doesn't say if you're forced to play these game modes. My only like gripe with this is if we're forced to play these shitty LTMs that they're bringing back for like a week at a time. If they're forcing us to play these LTMs to get an epic loot box and like a legendary Lifeweaver skin and all this other shit, if they're forcing us to play LTMs, this is terrible because I don't like these LTMs. If it's just by playing the game, I'm all for this. I'm happy if we just get a bunch of free shit by just playing throughout the entire span of every single one of these last 4 weeks of the season. That's fine. All I hope is it doesn't force us to play these, like the old Overwatch modes or like all the fucking random LTMs they're bringing back for their anniversary or so. We'll see what it is. I haven't been in game yet, at least I'm recording this, so I'm not sure what it is. If you guys know, let us know in the comments down below. I'll probably find out later after I upload this, because I'll probably be playing later. Competitive play updates. This is something I don't know why we didn't have. Why was this only in Stadium, and then we never had this in the main game modes? Players who have levers outside of their own group during a core competitive play match will have reduced rank progress lost whenever there is a lever in the match. This was only a thing in Stadium until now, y'all. It boggles my mind how this was not actually in the main game modes, but they put it into the mode that literally nobody takes seriously anyways, and you don't lose much progress anyways if you do lose. This compensation will be reduced at higher skill tiers. Players who leave core competitive play matches and their group members will receive the full loss penalty. Leavers themselves will still be suspended from all competitive play modes. So this is a real problem, especially in 6v6. I got a video probably later this week or probably this weekend talking about 6v6, but open queue 6v6 is fucking terrible. And it seems like every other game, somebody on your team or the enemy team is leaving. I sure wish this was a thing up until now. At least if we play like 6v6 or even like any other like core modes, 4 ranked, 5v5 and all that shit, if somebody leaves, then we at least get kind of a bit of like a lost forgiveness type thing where we don't lose nearly as much points, which is great. So, I don't know why this should have been something that was in the game like years ago. This should have been in the game at the start of Overwatch 2. How we're getting this like almost 3 years later, it boggles my mind, and how it was put into Stadium before the main game modes makes zero sense. I don't know. Here we go with the balance changes, y'all. This is what we're gonna get into here. There's a lot of shit here I'm gonna talk about, so if you guys do not like me ranting on balance changes, or if you have a problem with people being real and telling you the real facts about balance changes, and you're somebody that just likes people that are Blizzard shills just telling you everything that's good about the game, I'm probably the wrong person you're gonna end up wanting to watch. Go watch somebody else. Go watch Burger Flipper Bulger or Flats the Flounder or some of these other fucking Overwatch shills that are in the back pocket of Blizzard or barely play the game and they're playing Marvel Rivals. They got like 2.5 feet out the door, but they're just playing Overwatch and making Overwatch shit for views. Go watch some of those fucking people. If you have a problem with what I say about balance or anything about the game, just before I get into this, because there was a bunch of people last time when I did the patch notes review for the start of this season. I had some major problems with what I was saying, and it called me like overly negative and all this other shit that I've heard a million fucking times. So got Hazard. You know, I don't think Hazard's that good. I think Hazard's more of like a middle line tank currently. There's just a lot of really good tanks right now, and they're nerfing Hazard for some reason. I'm not gonna complain because I hate playing against him. I think he's really annoying to play against. I really do, especially playing support or damage. Tank, I don't mind playing against him because he's easy to kill, at least from the tanks that I play. But like playing damage and support, he's just really annoying to play against. I don't care if they really nerf him. I honestly don't care. I think Hazard's poorly designed as a tank. One of the more like awful tanks they put into the game. That's one of the newer ones throughout Overwatch 2 history. Who cares? Who cares if they nerf him? Somebody's gonna be in the comments already typing away. Oh man, you should be caring about the Hazard. Hazard didn't need to be nerfed. Blah blah blah. I don't care if you don't like playing against him. Whatever. He'll survive. Don't worry. It's not like Hazard's bad even with these changes. Got Ramatra, bonus armor increase from 250 to 275. Here we go with nerfing Ramatra and actually having him be in a balanced state. He's not even really bad. I still think Ramatra is actually really good. People are just so used to him being broken for like the last season or like close to 2 seasons until he got nerfed at the start of this one. That people think he's just terrible now. People just don't know how to play him. They just expect to be able to run at people and just never die, which is not how it works anymore. I think that's the problem. People are so used to playing the old Ramatra before he got nerfed into the ground that people think he's terrible now. Now we're back to micro buffing the Ramatra though. I don't know why he's being buffed. He's in a balanced spot now. I would not touch him at all, but apparently they think otherwise. They want to slowly start buffing him again to where he's probably going to end up being the best tank in the game again, probably a season or 2 from now. Just like Orisa and Malg and a bunch of other shit. Got Roadhog here, y'all. By far, probably the top 3 worst tanks in the game currently. If I were to put it like a number 1 worst tank in the game. After the rework for this season, even with the emergency buffs that they gave this guy like a week or so after the season went live, he is still fucking terrible. I am a level 227 Roadhog, y'all. And if I can barely make him work in a lot of my games, there's still a problem. Granted, I am a lot better at playing him than I was at the start of the season. I'm getting a lot more used to his old kit and the revert back to the scrap gun and all that type of shit. And kind of knowing what damage I need to get kills and what I need to do and that stuff. I'm a lot better at playing him than I was at the start of the season. So I can make him work a little bit better after getting used to him a little bit. But still, I think he's terrible. Critical hit multiplier increased from 1.5 to 2. So this mainly just for headshots. If you can land headshots on something, you'll kill them faster. But overall, this damage number doesn't really matter anyways, because a lot of the damage you're doing already, either 2 shots or 1 shot certain things with a headshot anyways, from like medium range if you're using like the secondary fire on your scrap gun, which is probably what you're going to want to be using. This mainly matters if you're like close range. I guess with like your primary fire on your scrap gun, if you land headshots, you do a little bit more damage. Even that though, like you got to be right in somebody's face to do a lot of damage. It's mainly for your secondary fire and be able to land headshots on that anyways. And a lot of the time you're either one-shotting stuff with 1.5 or 2-shotting most things if you landed consecutive headshots anyways. So this doesn't really do much anything, like for really anything at all. So it's kind of a buff that doesn't really do shit. It just gives them a little bit more damage with his primary fire at close range. That's about all it really does. And then we got resource rate increase for Take a Breather from 10 to 12.5 per second. I mean, it gives them more survivability. I'm not going to say this is a bad change for him. More survivability for Hog is always great, and I'll take it, but it's just still not enough. Like, he's just so fucking behind like a lot of the other tanks in the game after he got reverted. Like, they got a lot to do with Hog. They gotta like absolutely just buff this guy and put him in line with a lot of these other tanks. He's just so behind the entire rest of the game. That's the problem with him now. And like his perks are just terrible. Every single one of his perks I think are absolutely fucking awful. I'm getting a lot better, and like I'm kind of liking the perk with like the hook where you pull somebody in and you get overhealth, but like you don't get enough overhealth and it doesn't last long enough. That's the problem with it. It's good if you're fighting in close range, but you don't get enough. And like if you hook somebody from long range, it doesn't last enough, or it gets shredded anyway. So, and like the other tier 2 perk where you get the movement speed on Take a Breather, it's just not even worth the tier 2 anymore. It really ain't, because you just barely have any Take a Breather stuff. Before you get a lot more value out of it, because if you threw somebody into a pig pen with the ability that would give you extra resource if you landed somebody into your pig pen or did damage with it, you get extra resource on your Take a Breather. You would get a lot more value out of the movement speed because you would have a lot more Take a Breather resource and you could spam it a lot more. Now that you don't have that, the movement speed is pretty much fucking useless. What I've been running with Hog, my perks at least, I've been running the 2 extra ammo on hooking somebody. That's the tier 1 perk I've been running. Then I'm just running the pooled perk one where you get the overhealth on hooking somebody. That's why I've been running. Just the double hook perks. That's what I've been running. I don't even bother running the extra movement speed on Take a Breather anymore. And then the other perk that is tier 1, which is the scrap gun one, is just fucking counterintuitive. It just makes no sense. It actually makes your secondary fire worse overall usually, and I'm just not really used to it. I'm used to just having nothing. Like I'm getting to the point where like I just don't care. I'd rather have the hook ammo, I guess, over the secondary fire, which actually makes my damage a lot worse. I'm just not used to the range, all that type of stuff. It changes, so I think it actually nerfs his scrap gun overall, if I'm being real. I think it's actually a perk that actually is counterintuitive to tell you how you actually want to play him. So I just think the next thing they need to look at with him is they need to buff his damage again, and then they need to look at his perks. They gotta either severely buff his perks or rework some of his perks, because out of a lot of the tanks in the game too, his perks are just not on the level of a lot of these other tanks. These other tanks have like game-changing perks, and like his perks for like being a tank just aren't that good. His tier 1 is fucking awful, like both of them are just terrible. And like his tier 2s, he has one tier 2 that's mid as fuck. And like for a tier 2, it's not really even worth a tier 2. And then the Take a Breather movement speed one just isn't worth running at all. It's not even worth a tier 2 anymore. Like his perks are just terrible. That's the next thing they need to look at going into balance. This is a step in the right direction though. I'm not shitting on these Hog changes. I just think they should have did more, which is not here. I don't know why they're so light on balance when he's the worst tank in the fucking game. Wrecking Ball's getting some nerfs. They're reducing his ammo on his guns, and then his mine field lasts 4 seconds less. So whatever. I think the reason why they're nerfing Ball is because he's banned in a lot of your higher tier games. I think that's what it really is. I don't know about you guys, but all the Wrecking Balls I've seen this season, whether they're on my team or the enemy team, they just roll around and literally do nothing all game. So I get all the shitty Wrecking Ball players that have no fucking idea how to play at all, and then we get absolutely fucking wrecked because we have literally no tank all game. I'm either playing damage or I'm playing support, and I'm having to play the tank half the time. because the guys in the enemy team's backline literally just feeding them free kills. That's about all the wrecking balls I have, but he is good in your higher tiers if you know how to play him. I think that's why they're nerfing him. Genji, one of the best dive heroes in the game right now. They're nerfing Genji's deflect, increasing the cooldown by 2 seconds, whatever. I actually think they should have nerfed him more, but whatever, I'll take what we can get. Hanzo's also still really good. The Storm Arrows are just fucking brain dead. I'm glad they're nerfing the Storm Arrows. He's still going to be incredibly good. They've buffed him more than they've nerfed him, especially these last few seasons. I think he's still incredibly good for a projectile hero. No longer have a larger projectile size compared to regular arrows, which is great because it's such a fucking brain dead spam ability. You don't need the extra projectile size on the Storm Arrows. It's just unnecessary all that type of stuff. Torb's, I think, a sleeper pick currently. If you guys aren't playing Torb, I think he's actually really good. I've been playing a lot of Torb lately, especially in like ranked in a lot of my games. And he actually is like really slept on, if I'm being 100% real with you guys. Overload, ability increase from 5 to 6 seconds, which is huge buff. And then Molten Core, the increase in the damage by 30 per second. So he already charges ult really fast. It's mainly because like you're doing damage nonstop. Whether it's you doing damage or your turret constantly doing damage, you're always constantly charging ult. So you're actually charging your ult pretty damn fast. And like with Overload, you can actually just melt people too. If you learn how to actually land headshots, you just shit damage during Overload when you're charged up. It's crazy. I think he's actually really slept on right now. I don't see nearly enough people playing Torb. I think he's really, really good. Tracer, perk cost increased by 25%, so now she'll have to do 25% more damage to get a tier 1 and tier 2 perk. Mainly because she's absolutely broken and she's running the game in a lot of your higher tier lobbies. I've seen a lot of really good Tracers this season as well that are really annoying to play against. The funny thing here is, though, is they're buffing Widowmaker. Why? Why are they buffing Widow? I have no idea. Here we go with the clueless fucking balance changes. Absolutely fucking clueless balance team. Are they buffing her because Dive is really good? Is that why? I don't know. I know Dive is really good with like Winston and like there's a few other Dive tanks and like Tracer, Genji, Wu Yang, and there's a few other like stuff that people are running on Dive that are really good into her, but does she really need to be buffed? Probably not. I think that's mindless balance change that we didn't need. Supports, they're buffing Brig, y'all. Does this buff matter? Not really. This is a buff that just does not matter because the one thing that she needs is she needs her stun back on her shield bash, either as a perk or in the default base kit, or she needs some type of survivability increase like an HP or like an armor increase or something. The problem with Brig still is she just gets out damaged by everything. She can't brawl and she dies too easily. That's still the main problem with Brig. They can go and fucking increase the damage all they want on shield bash. It's not gonna fucking matter. And then they fixed a bug where it was triggering on non-player entities. Whatever. Still terrible. I think Brig's probably top 3 worst supports in the entire game still. Lucio. They're nerfing Lucio's damage, y'all. Damage per projectile reduced from 22 down to 20. Good. I fucking hate Lucio players. I really do. I don't know how many games I've had this season so far where I have a Lucio on my team, and we'll be 15 minutes into the game and the guy barely has 1,000 heals, and the guy just literally sits on speed boost the entire time and goes into the enemy team's backline and just feeds and trolls the entire time. I hate people that play Lucio. I hate having him on my team. I'm glad they nerfed him. Maybe that'll dissuade people from playing him, because the less people that are playing Lucio on my team, the more I can win, it seems. Every time I have a Lucio on my team, I seem to lose the majority of my games. I wonder why. And we got Wu Yang, the most broken support in the entire game right now. What are they gonna do to put Wu Yang in line, y'all? What are they gonna do? Rushing Torrent, increase the cooldown by 1 second from 7 to 8. Guardian Wave, healing amplification duration reduced from 4 to 3 seconds. Cooldown increased by 2 seconds. This does not actually address the issue with Wu Yang and the problem that he has with everything in the game. The problem with Wu Yang is he's a fucking support that does incredible amounts of heals, which grant these nerfs to some of his healing stuff. This is mainly his movement ability, which is the rushing torrent. So he'll have a little bit less movement, but that doesn't really matter that much. He's still pretty difficult to kill. The Guardian Wave being on a higher cooldown, it is what it is. That'll reduce his healing a little bit because he won't be able to spam it as much. But the problem with Wu Yang is he is a support that has crazy healing numbers, and he out-damages like 90% of the DPS roster. Why Wu Yang is allowed to do 100 damage with a full charge shot, and being able to arc it around corners into stuff that is out of line of sight is beyond me. Why don't they nerf his damage? Where are the damage nerfs for Wu Yang? They aren't here. Again, this balance team is fucking retarded. I am balancing your game for free, and we have fucking Aaron Keller and Alec Dawson being paid to balance this damn game, and they cannot do it at all. Every time there is a new patch, they fucking miss the mark every time. Granted, this mid-season patch hasn't been as bad as some of the other past mid-season patches or even like season patch for the start of this season. It's been better than that, but there's a lot of shit that also isn't on here for some reason. So I don't know why they don't nerf his damage. That the main thing they need to nerf is Wu Yang's damage, and they don't even fucking touch it at all. Clueless. Literally clueless. Do they play their own game is what I'm wondering. Do the balance team actually play their own game? Because if they did, they would know that Wu Yang is out-damaging the majority of the DPS in the entire game right now, while also dropping like 10 to 15k heals again in a match. At least that's what I've been seeing. And like the Wu Yangs I've been seeing on my team, they're just average at best. They're average at best, and they're averaging like 8 to 12k heals in about a 15-20 minute game, and they have like close to 7-8k damage, and they're out-damaging the majority of the DPS on my teams. That's what I've been seeing, and that's just an average Wu Yang player. Imagine the ones that are really good, which I've also seen, which are having even better numbers than that. That's before these changes to Guardian Wave, though, which will reduce his healing a little bit. I'm not saying that won't matter that much. It will reduce his healing somewhat, but still. The main problem with him never got addressed, so here we are again. Brand new support. You want to know what the real reason I think it actually is, y'all? They don't want to nerf his damage because he's getting a new skin. That's what it is. I forgot he's getting a new skin with the Persona collab. That's what it is. That's why we aren't nerfing a lot of the heroes that need to be nerfed, because they're in the Persona collaboration. They want to sell skins. Oh, that's what it is. Typical Blizzard. Basing balance off of skin releases. That's what it is. That is all the balance changes we have, y'all. Apart from stadium shit, which I'm not really going to talk about, that is all we have. There is literally nothing else on here. Where is Mauga is what I'm wondering. Where is Orisa? Probably the second best tank in the game. Mauga right now is probably the #1 best tank in the game again. Just mainly because it's tier 2 perk where he's able to like run at somebody and slam on them and like ignite them and do a shit ton of damage right away. That's shit's so broken. Once he gets his tier 2 perk, he's by far the best tank in the entire game. Where is Mauga on this list? Getting nerfed. There's no Mauga nerfs. There's no Orisa nerfs. Diva's incredibly good. There's no Diva nerfs. I just don't see anything on here. Like, where the fuck is half the fucking heroes on this list? Literally nothing. There's literally nothing. McCree is also incredibly good. I don't think McCree's on here because he's a check to a lot of the dive heroes. He plays good into those. That's probably why they didn't want to nerf him, but I think McCree needs to be nerfed. There's a lot of heroes, too, that have really terrible perks, especially like tier 1 perks that could use some buffs. None of that on here either. Barely any perk changes at all, if any. I just don't understand. I really don't. I literally don't understand. I understand it's a mid-season patch and everything, that there's not going to be as much balance, but like, when you have blatantly obvious balance problems with your game, like, why are you waiting to adjust the balance of the game? Why are you waiting until the next season? Why don't you just fucking adjust the obvious stuff? And even the most obvious stuff, they don't even touch. Hence why we never got any fucking damage nerfs to Wu Yang, which is the most obvious nerf we could have needed. And we don't get it. The one thing everybody wants, we don't get. Here's some stadium changes, y'all. You guys can go through all these. I'll scroll through them. If you guys want to check these out yourself. They also added Tracer to stadium. If you guys want to go through all his, or all hers. for perks and all that type of stuff, for powers and all that shit. By all means, you guys check the patch notes out on your own time. I'm not gonna sit here and go through all this stuff. Bunch of stuff for Stadium, bunch of stuff. Got some Stadium custom game updates. Nobody gives a fuck about Stadium. If you do, go look at the patch notes on your own time. But Stadium's a failure, boring game mode. What I'm wondering is where's Pharah at on this? Like, where's Pharah? Did they buff Pharah? Cause there's no Pharah on here. There's no Pharah on here. The Pharah is probably the worst. Pharah and Junkrat are probably the two worst DPS in the Stadium, and they aren't even on here. They aren't even on here. Who cares then? If they don't give a fuck about Stadium, why should we? That's what I'm really thinking. Like, they can add new heroes to Stadium, which still isn't enough. Like, what do we have, like 20 heroes in Stadium? The game has close to 50 heroes now. Come on. Come on. If you don't give a fuck about Stadium, why would we? That's the kind of the main philosophy I've been going off to. Like, if they don't give a fuck about Stadium and it's a joke to them, why should I fucking care? Why are they putting their dev time and their dev resources into Stadium still? I have no idea. Just such a waste of time. Some bug fixes here. I will talk about one of these bug fixes because this one with Venture is actually it happened to me yesterday. Fixed an issue with Venture's burrow ability that caused a delay when attempting to use subsequent abilities after emerging. I actually had this bug happen to me like multiple times in one game yesterday. I thought it was the servers on fire, but it turns out it was actually a bug. So I'm glad they actually fixed this because it was actually a huge bug for Venture. So that was actually kind of holding her back. So she should be actually a lot better now. A lot more fluid. You won't have any like delay and all that type of shit. It won't feel like the servers are lagging. It's kind of what it kind of felt like. I thought it was just because the servers were on fire. But then again, it only happened when I would pop out a burrow and try to use stuff. It felt like the servers would lag, but I guess it was just a bug. So that is one bug that was really common. So if you guys experienced that, you guys know what I'm talking about. All this other stuff, there's a few other things here. I don't know how important they really are, but pretty much it. Some Stadium changes, and that is all we have, y'all. Overall, kind of an L. Probably like a mid at best. Patch notes for mid-season. Not really much. If I'm gonna be real with you guys, this mid-season patch, not really much. We got like 4 weeks of the season left until we get to like mid-October for season 19. Not really much going on apart from some free loot boxes and a few cosmetics. Maybe by just playing the game. Tracer added to Stadium. Apart from that, really nothing. Literally nothing. Kind of a boring rest of the season. Gonna be kind of a slog if I'm being real with you guys. These last few weeks. Plus, like a lot of the stuff that we did need on these patch notes just isn't here. There's just so much stuff that is again missing from the patch notes, and the stuff that they did add to a lot of the patch notes, it was just all wrong or just clueless balance changes. There's some that I do agree with, like some are good, like the Hog changes, and there's 1 or 2, 3 other ones that are pretty good, but a lot of these balance changes are just clueless, and like they just don't make any sense at all, or like completely what they should have not have did. They should have changed something else, and then it was like the opposite of what they should have did. So I'm gonna have to say mid as fuck. Probably like the most mid-season patch we've had in a long time. Nothing at all out of the ordinary apart from some free stuff, and then Tracer added to Stadium, and then some shitty balance changes for the most part. So hopefully season 19's better. I feel like season 18's just been incredibly boring. I don't know what you guys have been feeling about it, but I feel like it's just super boring overall. It's just one of those seasons where they just keep feeding us skins, and they expect you to keep on buying skins without actually giving us content. That's kind of what I feel like the season really is. It's a fucking filler season with barely anything. The main thing we got was Wu Yang, and like he's fucking so unfun to play against. I'm so sick of playing against him already. If I'm playing ranked, I'm banning Wu Yang. I hate playing against him. He's so annoying to play against. Which I said at the start of the season. Once people get good at him, he's gonna be the best support in the entire game. What happened yet again? Same thing with my tier list. I said Wu Yang's gonna probably be the best support in the game once people get good at him, or start even being able to play him at like an average level. What happened yet again? Yet I got shit on in the comments for saying Wu Yang's the best support in the game. People don't actually know how to know what they're saying themselves. I got called so many fucking names and like shit on and all this other type of stuff, but for saying Wu Yang's gonna be the best support in the game and that they shouldn't have buffed him. Who was right yet again? Never doubt me, because that's like the third time when we have a new hero in the game and I say, oh, they don't need to be buffed, they're going to be the best hero in the game. What happened? Same thing for Freya, same thing for a few of the other more recent heroes. I'm done ranting, y'all. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, share the video, let me know what you guys think of the mid-season patch down below. And I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, everybody.